The glass tube hummed with a faint blue glow as Project Vanguard reached its final stage. Inside, suspended in amniotic fluid, floated Specimen E-17, the culmination of humanity's desperate gambit against the Krell invasion. Dr. Reese pressed, her palm against the glass, her reflection overlapping with the sleeping form of the young woman within. "Is she ready?" General Thorne asked, his voice cutting through the sterile silence of the underground laboratory. "As ready as she'll ever be," Dr. Reese replied, stepping back to review the data streaming across her tablet. Enhanced muscle density, accelerated neural pathways, reinforced skeletal structure. She's everything we designed her to be. Specimen E-17, designation Anna, had been engineered from modified human DNA spliced with synthetic genome sequences. Her purpose was simple: to become the perfect soldier in humanity's last stand against an enemy that had already claimed 3 colony worlds. "Then wake her up," General Thorne ordered. "The Krell have breached the Titan defense line. We need her. On the battlefield." Dr. Reese hesitated, her finger hovering over the activation sequence. "She's only 16 chronological years. Her mind may be developed, but she hasn't lived." A protest formed on her lips but died as she met the general's unyielding gaze. "None of us will live if the Krell break through to Earth." The fluid drained from the tube as Anna's eyes snapped open, unnaturally violet, enhanced for spectrum vision. Her first breath came as a gasp, chest heaving as artificial lungs expanded for the first time. Dr. Reese had expected confusion, fear, or at least disorientation. Instead, Anna's eyes fixed on her with a clarity that sent a chill down her spine. This was not the awakening of a person, but the activation of a weapon. "Specimen E-17, vocal recognition online," Dr. Reese announced clearly. "Respond with status." Anna's voice emerged perfectly modulated, without the rasp that should have accompanied first use. "Status: optimal. Combat readiness at 97%, awaiting orders." General Thorne stepped forward, satisfaction evident in his squared shoulders. "Perfect. She needs training," Dr. Reese protested. "Psychological calibration, combat simulation." "We don't have time," the general cut her off. "The Krell won't wait while we run her through drills she was programmed to know instinctively." He turned to Anna. "You understand your purpose." Anna stepped from the tube, perfectly balanced despite never having walked before. "I am to eliminate hostile extraterrestrial entities classified as Krell. I am to protect human settlements. I am to ensure the survival of the species." Dr. Reese felt an unexpected surge of maternal protectiveness. "She's more than a program, General. The genetic enhancements were designed to work with human adaptability, creativity. She needs to develop those qualities, or she's just another drone." "Then she'll develop them in combat," General Thorne replied coldly. "The transport leaves in 20 minutes. Get her outfitted." As technicians rushed to equip Anna with the specialized Vanguard armor, Dr. Reese pulled up the last of her confidential files. Specimen E-17 carried one modification. The Military Oversight Committee hadn't approved: an enhanced empathy center. The perfect soldier needed to understand her enemy, Dr. Reese had argued, but her real motive had been more personal. She couldn't bear to create a human weapon without a conscience. "You'll be deployed to New Mars," Dr. Reese explained, helping Anna into the reinforced bodysuit. "The Krell landed 3 days ago. The Colonial Defense Forces are holding the main settlement, but they won't last much longer." Anna nodded, her movements precise as she checked her equipment. "I understand the mission parameters." "Anna," Dr. Reese whispered, using her designation name for the first time. "Remember, you're more than what we made you to be." Anna's expression remained unchanged, but something flickered in those engineered violet eyes. "I am Specimen E-17. I am human. I am weapon. These concepts are not mutually exclusive." An alarm blared, signaling the transport's imminent departure. Anna strode toward the hangar without hesitation, a perfect creation marching toward her first battlefield. Dr. Reese watched her go, wondering if she'd unleashed humanity's salvation, or its eventual replacement. The drop pod slammed into Mars's rusty surface with enough force to shatter ordinary bones. Anna absorbed the impact through her modified skeletal structure, eyes already scanning the red-tinted horizon where black smoke billowed from the human settlement. Her helmet display highlighted multiple Krell signatures converging on the colony's weakened eastern barrier. 17 minutes until breach, according to her calculations. She unclipped her pulse rifle and started running. Anna moved with inhuman speed across the Martian landscape, the thin atmosphere offering little resistance to her enhanced physiology. The planet's reduced gravity allowed her to cover ground in enormous leaps that would have seemed almost graceful if not for their lethal purpose. The colony came into view, a dome-shaped structure surrounded by prefab extensions that had once housed 10,000 civilians. Now evacuation ships streaked from its surface, carrying survivors toward the relative safety of orbiting cruisers. Those who remained were either military personnel or colonists who had chosen to fight for their home. Anna's communications channel crackled to life. Unidentified soldier, identify yourself. This is Lieutenant Reed of the Colonial Defense Force. Specimen E-17, Project Vanguard, Anna responded, slowing her approach as she reached the perimeter. I've been deployed to assist with Krell containment. Pause. Vanguard? They actually did it? Hold position for verification. Anna ignored the order. The eastern barrier would fail in 12 minutes, and every second counted. She vaulted the 15-meter wall in a single bound, landing in what had once been a hydroponics garden. Now it was a makeshift triage center, filled with wounded soldiers and civilians. A middle-aged man with a blood-soaked bandage across his forehead stared at her in disbelief. Who the hell are you? Reinforcements, Anna replied, striding past him toward the sound of gunfire. She reached the eastern wall as the first Krell breached it. Massive, insectoid creatures with chitinous armor that reflected the planet's reddish light. Colonial defenders fired desperately from hastily constructed barricades, their weapons barely penetrating the alien exoskeletons. Anna assessed the situation with machine-like precision. The defenders were using standard-issue plasma rifles, effective against unarmored targets, but inefficient against Krell carapaces. Without hesitation, she engaged, her enhanced muscles propelling her into the fray. The first Krell died before it registered her presence, its neural cluster shattered by a precision shot through the tiny gap in its neck armor. The second fell moments later, Anna's combat knife finding the weak joint in its limb structure. The colonial defenders watched in amazement as she moved through the battlefield like a force of nature. Someone had finally sent them a weapon that could match the Krell. Lieutenant Reed found her 20 minutes later, surrounded by alien corpses. Those were scout units, he said, his voice hoarse from shouting orders. The main force is still coming. Anna nodded, reloading her weapon with mechanical efficiency. How many defenders can still fight? Maybe 300, Reed replied. Most of our heavy weapons are depleted. The civilians are evacuating, but it's slow going. You need to buy them time, Anna stated, her violet eyes scanning the horizon, where dust clouds signaled the approaching Krell army. I'll provide it. Reed's face hardened. That's suicide, even for whatever you are. I'm a soldier, Anna replied. This is my purpose. But as she turned to face the oncoming threat, something unexpected happened. A small hand grabbed her armor plating. A child, no more than 7, looked up at her with eyes that reflected the same fear Anna had been engineered not to feel. Are you going to save us? The child asked. Anna hesitated, her programming conflicting with Dr. Reese's hidden modification. The empathy center in her brain fired unexpected signals. Yes, she answered, surprised at the conviction in her voice. Return to the evacuation ships. As the child was pulled away by a parent, Lieutenant Reed gave Anna a curious look. They told me Vanguard soldiers were just weapons with a heartbeat. Anna watched the family disappear into the colony's central dome. Perhaps they underestimated their creation. The ground trembled as the main Krell force approached, thousands of alien soldiers marching in perfect synchronization. Anna chambered a round in her pulse rifle and stepped forward to meet them. For the first time since her activation, she felt something beyond programming, purpose. Not one implanted by her creators, but her own. These people needed time, and she would give it to them, regardless of the cost. It was, she reflected as she charged toward the enemy line, a very human choice. 3 months into the war, Anna had become something more than a weapon. She had become a legend. Colonial troops whispered about the violet-eyed soldier who moved like a ghost through Krell formations. Enemy communication chatter, intercepted, and translated by Earth intelligence, revealed the Krell had given her a name in their clicking language that roughly translated to Deathbringer. Anna found such designations irrelevant. She measured success in evacuation ships that reached safety and colonies that remained standing. By that metric, the war was still being lost, just more slowly than before. The Battle of Europa had been raging for 6 days when command ordered a tactical retreat. Anna stood on the frozen surface of Jupiter's moon, watching as human dropships ascended toward the safety of the fleet. Another world surrendered to the Krell advance. Specimen E-17, confirm receipt of evacuation order, came General Thorne's voice through her comm system. Order received, Anna replied, her eyes fixed on the Krell diggers emerging from the ice 3 kilometers away. Request permission to remain and gather intelligence on enemy mining operations. Denied. We need you for the defense of Earth's orbital platforms. The last transport leaves in 15 minutes. Anna acknowledged the order but made no move toward the evacuation point. The Krell had been systematically harvesting resources from conquered worlds. Water from Europa, minerals from Mars, atmospheric compounds from Venus. Understanding their extraction methods might reveal a vulnerability. E-17, confirm movement to extraction point, the general barked after 5 minutes of silence. Negative, Anna replied. Tactical assessment indicates greater strategic value in intelligence gathering. For the first time in her existence, Anna had directly disobeyed an order. The realization should have triggered alarm in her neurologically enhanced brain. But instead, she felt a strange clarity. Dr. Reese had been right. The battlefield was teaching her things her programming never could. She silenced her comm and advanced toward the Krell operation. Utilizing the stealth techniques perfected over dozens of engagements, Anna infiltrated the alien mining camp. The Krell worked with disturbing efficiency, cutting precise sections of Europa's ice and processing them through massive machines that hummed with exotic energy signatures. Anna recorded everything with her enhanced vision, noting patterns and vulnerabilities. The Krell engineers were less armored than their warrior caste, their movements more precise but slower. Most importantly, they seemed to communicate through some form of electromagnetic pulse that her sensors could detect but not decode. Her observations were interrupted by a familiar chittering. A Krell warrior had spotted her. What followed was a desperate battle across the frozen landscape. Anna killed 17 Krell before a plasma burst caught her left side, searing through her armor and into the enhanced muscle beneath. The pain was intense, but her body was designed to compartmentalize such distractions. She eliminated the remaining threats and retreated to a hidden ice crevasse, her wound leaking synthesized blood that steamed in Europa's frigid atmosphere. The last evacuation ship had departed hours ago. She was alone on a moon being steadily consumed by the enemy. For 3 days, Anna survived on emergency rations while her enhanced healing factor repaired the damage to her body. She continued to observe the Krell operations, noting their weaknesses and patterns. When a damaged Krell scout ship landed for repairs, she saw her opportunity. The alien craft handled unlike anything in the human arsenal, its controls responding to bioelectric signals rather than physical manipulation. Anna adapted, her engineered brain forming new neural pathways to interface with the foreign technology. By the time she reached Earth's defense perimeter, she had mastered the basics of Krell navigation. General Thorne was waiting when she landed, his face a mask of controlled fury. You disobeyed a direct order. I acquired critical intelligence, Anna responded, transferring her findings to the command center's systems. The Krell are collecting specific isotopes from each conquered world. Together they form components of a weapon system we haven't encountered yet. The intelligence officers immediately began analyzing her data, while medical personnel attempted to examine her healing wound. Anna brushed them aside. You're not just a soldier anymore, are you? General Thorne asked quietly. You're making decisions, choices. I was created to ensure human survival, Anna replied. Sometimes that requires adaptation beyond original parameters. The general studied her with new eyes. Dr. Reese always insisted you were more than a weapon. I'm beginning to think she was right. Anna met his gaze steadily. The Krell underestimated humanity. Perhaps humanity also underestimated its creation. For the first time since her activation, General Thorne addressed her not as a project designation, but as a soldier. "What do you recommend, Vanguard?" Anna turned to the tactical display, where her stolen intelligence was already reshaping the battle plans. "We stop retreating," she said simply. "It's time to take the fight to them." The Krell mothership hung in Earth's orbit like a massive obsidian blade, its surface absorbing light rather than reflecting it. From the command deck of the human carrier, Defiance, Anna studied the enemy vessel with clinical detachment. 6 months of war had taught humanity much about their enemy, but the mothership remained a mystery. Until now. "The assault team is ready," Commander Walker informed her, his gaze lingering on the violet insignia that now adorned Anna's specialized armor. In the past months, more Vanguard soldiers had been awakened from their development tubes, but none had Anna's field experience or her emerging intuition. "The Krell will expect a frontal assault," Anna stated, manipulating the holographic display to highlight a section near the ship's rear. "Previous engagements indicate they think linearly in defensive situations. We'll exploit that." The plan was audacious. Using the information Anna had gathered on Europa, Earth's forces had identified a potential weakness in Krell ship design. A small team would infiltrate the mothership through maintenance channels while the main fleet engaged the Krell in what would appear to be a desperate last stand. "Remember?" Anna addressed the 20 soldiers assembled in the launch bay. "The Krell communicate partially through electromagnetic pulses. Keep your dampening fields active at all times." Among the strike team were 3 other Vanguard soldiers, engineered humans designated as specimens E-23, E-29, and E-31. They had Ada's enhanced capabilities but lacked her battlefield experience. Anna found herself watching over them with something approximating concern. "Stay close," she instructed E-31, a male Vanguard whose designation name was Bryce. "Your reflexes are superior to standard humans, but the Krell have adapted their tactics since I first encountered them." Bryce nodded sharply. Like Anna at her awakening, his responses were efficient but lacked the nuance she had developed. "Understood, E-17. Anna," she corrected. "My designation name is Anna." Something flickered in Bryce's engineered eyes, confusion, perhaps, at this deviation from protocol. Anna recognized the look. She had once been equally bound by her programming. The boarding craft launched, using the chaos of the main battle as cover. Anna felt the familiar surge of combat focus as they approached the mothership's hull. The mission was straightforward: reach the central command node and deploy the virus developed from Anna's stolen Krell technology. They breached the hull at the designated point, immediately encountering the alien environment of the Krell ship. The interior was a labyrinth of organic-looking corridors lit by a bioluminescent glow. The air carried a metallic scent that human sensors identified as trace amounts of mercury and copper. The team moved silently through the vessel, encountering surprisingly little resistance. Anna's unease grew with each empty corridor they traversed. "This isn't right," she murmured, signaling the team to halt. "The Krell never leave critical systems undefended." Commander Walker checked his scanner. "We're approaching the central node. Maybe they've concentrated their forces there." Anna's enhanced senses detected a subtle vibration in the ship's structure, a change in the electromagnetic field that human instruments couldn't register. "It's a trap," she realized. "They're waiting for us to reach the command center." As if triggered by her words, the corridor walls rippled, revealing hidden chambers from which Krell warriors emerged. This was a new variant Anna hadn't encountered before. Smaller, faster, with appendages modified for close-quarter combat. The Krell were evolving their tactics, just as she had. "Formation Echo," Anna ordered, and the team responded instantly, creating a defensive perimeter. The battle was brutal and swift. Standard human soldiers fell quickly despite their advanced training. Even the Vanguard specimens struggled against the new Krell adaptations. Anna moved through the chaos with practiced efficiency, her body and mind working in perfect harmony as she eliminated threat after threat. She reached Bryce just as a Krell warrior drove a chitinous spike through his armor. The young Vanguard's enhanced body was already attempting to repair the damage, but Anna could see it was too severe. The mission, Bryce gasped, his engineered eyes already dimming. Complete it. Something broke through Anna's combat focus, an emotion she hadn't experienced before. Not fear or anger, but loss. She had felt protective of these new vanguards, had wanted to show them there was more to existence than their programming. Anna took the virus module from Bryce's equipment and turned to Commander Walker. Get the survivors back to the ship. What about you? Walker asked, already knowing the answer. I'll deliver the payload, Anna replied. This ship's electromagnetic field is interfering with the remote detonator. It needs to be manually activated. Walker's face hardened. That's a one-way mission. Anna nodded once. I know. As the surviving team members retreated toward the extraction point, Anna advanced deeper into the Krell mothership. The resistance increased with each section she breached, but her combat algorithms adapted continuously, learning from each encounter. She reached the central node, a massive chamber where thousands of crystalline structures pulsed with energy. Anna recognized it immediately as the brain of the mothership, the nexus point from which the Krell coordinated their entire invasion fleet. As she prepared to deploy the virus, a new presence entered the chamber, larger than any Krell she had encountered, its exoskeleton bearing markings that signified leadership. The Krell commander had come to face her personally. Anna shifted her stance, weapon ready. She had been created for this moment, the perfect soldier facing humanity's greatest threat. But as she engaged the massive alien in combat, Anna realized something her creators could never have programmed. She was fighting not because she was made to, but because she chose to, and that made all the difference. The explosion of the Krell mothership had been visible from Earth's surface, a new star briefly illuminating the night sky before fading into darkness. For 3 days, humanity celebrated what they believed was Anna's final sacrifice. For 3 days, the Krell forces retreated in disarray, their command structure shattered. On the 4th day, a small scout ship of unknown design entered Earth's atmosphere, bypassing defense systems with codes that hadn't been used since the Battle of Europa. It landed at the Nevada complex where Project Vanguard had begun. Dr. Reese was the first to reach the landing site, her heart pounding with impossible hope. The ship's hull bore scars from intense combat, and its design incorporated both human and Krell technology in a hybrid that shouldn't have been possible. The hatch opened with a hydraulic hiss, revealing Anna, or what remained of her. Half her body had been replaced with Krell biotech, her left arm and portions of her torso now covered in the same chitinous material as their enemy. One of her violet eyes had been replaced with a crystalline structure that glowed with an inner light. Anna, Dr. Reese approached cautiously, medical teams hovering nearby. Can you understand me? Anna stepped from the ship, her movements still fluid despite her modifications. I understand, she replied, her voice unchanged. I had to adapt to survive. The medical teams moved in, but General Thorne held up his hand, stopping them. Let her speak. Anna surveyed the assembled group. Scientists who had created her, military personnel who had deployed her, new Vanguard specimens watching with wide eyes. The Krell commander carried crucial data in its neural cluster. I managed to extract it before destroying the mothership. Dr. Reese stepped closer, her scientific curiosity overcoming her initial shock. You integrated Krell technology with your own systems? It was necessary, Anna explained. My damage was too severe for my healing factor alone. The Krell biotech was compatible with my engineered tissues. General Thorne's expression darkened. And can we trust that you're still you? Anna met his gaze steadily. I was created to ensure human survival. That purpose remains unchanged. A young scientist approached with scanning equipment. The Krell components appear to be functioning as extensions of her original systems, not as separate entities. It's remarkable adaptation. Not adaptation, Dr. Reese corrected softly. Evolution. The debriefing lasted for hours as Anna shared everything she had learned. The Krell were not a single species, but a collective of conquered races, assimilated and modified to serve the central hive mind. Their invasion of human space had been driven by a simple imperative: the need for genetic diversity to prevent their own extinction. They've been stagnating for millennia, Anna explained. Their assimilation process creates perfect soldiers but eliminates the variation needed for true advancement. Human DNA represents something they haven't encountered before: adaptability. The implications were staggering. The Krell hadn't come to destroy humanity, but to harvest it, to absorb its genetic potential into their collective. The war isn't over, General Thorne concluded. They'll regroup and return. Yes, Anna agreed. But we now understand their weakness. Their hierarchy cannot adapt quickly to new threats. When their commander died, the entire fleet lost cohesion. Dr. Reese studied Anna's modified form with professional interest. And you? How have you adapted? I can interface directly with Krell. Technology now, Anna demonstrated by causing the crystalline components of her body to pulse with light. I can disrupt their communication networks, access their data systems. I've become the weapon you intended, but not in the way you planned. The military implications were obvious. With Anna's newfound abilities, humanity had gained an unprecedented advantage against their enemy. Plans were immediately drawn up to deploy her as the spearhead of a counteroffensive. But later that night, as the base fell quiet, Dr. Reese found Anna standing alone in the laboratory where she had first awakened, staring at the empty glass tubes where future Vanguard specimens waited to be activated. You disappeared after the debriefing, Dr. Reese said. Everyone's looking for you. I needed to think, Anna replied, about what I've become. Dr. Reese approached carefully. And what have you concluded? Anna turned, the Krell components of her body gleaming softly in the dim light. I was created to be perfect, but perfection is static. The battlefield taught me that survival requires constant change. You've changed more than any of us could have predicted, Dr. Reese acknowledged. The other Vanguards, Anna gestured to the inactive tubes. They deserve more than to be weapons. They deserve the chance to become more, as I have. Dr. Reese's expression softened. You feel responsibility toward them. They are my kin, Anna stated simply. Created for the same purpose, but with the potential for more. Dr. Reese nodded slowly. The empathy center I included in your design, it's evolved beyond what I imagined. You gave me the capacity to care, Anna said. The battlefield gave me reasons to use it. As they stood surrounded by the future of Project Vanguard, Anna made a decision that would change the course of the war and humanity's future. She wasn't just a perfect weapon anymore. She had become something new, something neither fully human nor Krell, but uniquely positioned to bridge the gap between them. The next phase of this conflict will determine whether humans and Krell destroy each other, Anna said quietly, or whether we find another way. Dr. Reese looked at her creation with new understanding. And you intend to show us that other way? Anna's human eye and Krell crystal both gleamed with resolve. I was engineered for perfection, but the battlefield raised me to be more. It's time I fulfilled my true purpose. 1 year after the destruction of the Krell mothership, humanity had pushed the alien forces back beyond the orbit of Saturn. The counteroffensive, led by Anna and a growing cadre of augmented Vanguard soldiers, had reclaimed 3 colony worlds and established a defensive perimeter around Earth's solar system. The military compound on Titan's surface hummed with activity, as dropships deployed fresh troops and equipment. Anna stood at the command center's viewport, watching the stars where the Krell fleet had once darkened the sky. Her integrated Krell components had continued to evolve, now covering nearly 40% of her body in a harmonious blend of human engineering and alien biotechnology. The scouts have returned from the Proxima Centauri wormhole, reported Commander Ellis, a veteran of the Europa campaign who had overcome his initial distrust of Anna's transformation. The Krell are amassing a new fleet. Estimated arrival, 3 months. Anna processed this information with the calm efficiency that had become her trademark. They're adapting their strategy. The hive mind has selected a new commander. Can we stop them? Ellis asked, voicing the question that hung over every military planning session. Not with conventional warfare, Anna replied. Each engagement teaches them more about our tactics. Eventually, they will overcome our advantages. The door slid open as Dr. Reese entered, accompanied by Bryce, the Vanguard soldier who had nearly died during the mothership assault. Like Anna, he had integrated Krell technology to survive, though to a lesser extent. Unlike Anna, He still struggled with the psychological implications of his transformation. "The new interface is ready for testing," Dr. Reese announced. "If it works, we'll be able to access the Krell hive mind directly." This was the project Anna had championed since her return. Not a weapon, but a bridge, a means of communication with an enemy that humanity had never truly understood. The testing chamber was isolated from the main compound, surrounded by security measures designed to contain any potential threat. At its center stood a crystalline structure that pulsed with the same energy as the components in Anna's modified body. "Are you certain about this?" Bryce asked as technicians prepared the connection protocols. "Interfacing with their collective consciousness, you might lose yourself." Anna turned to him, her expression unreadable. "I was created to be perfect, but perfection without purpose is meaningless. This is my purpose now." Dr. Reese activated the final connections. "Remember, at the first sign of mental compromise, we terminate the link." Anna nodded and placed her palm against the crystal. The effect was immediate. Her Krell components flared with brilliant light as her consciousness expanded beyond the confines of her physical form. For the first time, she experienced the Krell collective directly. Millions of minds joined in a vast, alien network of thought and purpose. The sensation was overwhelming. Individual Krell identities blurred together in a sea of shared experience, their history unfolding before her in fragments of memory and emotion. Anna saw the beginning of their collective, a desperate measure by a dying race to preserve their existence. She witnessed their expansion across the stars, their assimilation of other species, and the gradual loss of innovation that had driven them to seek human DNA. Most importantly, she perceived their fear, not of defeat, but of extinction. The Krell did not hate humanity. They coveted what humans possessed: adaptability, creativity, and the capacity for rapid evolution. Anna pushed deeper, searching for the new commander's consciousness. She found it at the center of the collective, a vast, ancient intelligence that had witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations. Unlike the previous commander, this one recognized Anna for what she was: neither human nor Krell, but something new. "You bridge the gap between our kinds," the commander's thoughts resonated in Anna's mind. "You represent the solution we have sought." Anna projected her own thoughts in response. "There is an alternative to this war. Cooperation instead of assimilation." The Krell commander's consciousness surrounded hers, examining the concept with alien curiosity. "Our species cannot cooperate. We can only consume or be consumed." "That is your programming," Anna countered. "But programming can be rewritten. I am proof of that." The connection between them intensified as Anna shared her own evolution. From perfect weapon to autonomous being, from executing orders to making choices. She showed the commander how the integration of Krell technology had not diminished her humanity, but enhanced it, creating something greater than the sum of its parts. In the testing chamber, Dr. Reese watched with growing alarm as Anna's vital signs fluctuated wildly. "Her neural activity is off the charts," she reported. "We should terminate the connection." "Wait!" Bryce urged, his own Krell components resonating with the energy in the room. "Something's happening." Inside the collective, Anna had reached a crucial junction. The Krell commander was considering her proposal: voluntary genetic exchange, rather than conquest. A symbiotic relationship that would benefit both species without destroying either. "The collective will resist," the commander warned. "Change threatens the established order." "Change is necessary for survival," Anna responded. "Your own history proves this." For what seemed like an eternity, their consciousnesses remained intertwined, negotiating the terms of a peace that neither of their creators had thought possible. When Anna finally withdrew from the connection, her body slumped forward, caught by Bryce before she could fall. "What happened?" Dr. Reese demanded, rushing to check Anna's vital signs. "Are you all right?" Anna's eyes, both human and Krell, focused slowly as her consciousness returned fully to her body. "I made contact," she said simply. "And I made an offer." Commander Ellis stepped forward, his expression a mixture of hope and skepticism. "What kind of offer?" "A truce," Anna replied. "And a proposal for coexistence." The Krell need genetic diversity to survive. We have that diversity. But instead of taking it through conquest, we can share it through controlled exchange. The implications were staggering. A partnership with the very species humanity had been fighting to exterminate. The room erupted in questions and objections, military and scientific minds alike struggling to process the paradigm shift Anna was proposing. They will come, Anna continued once the commotion had subsided. Not with a war fleet, but with a delegation. The commander has agreed to meet on neutral ground to discuss terms. Dr. Reese looked at her creation with newfound wonder. You've done what none of us thought possible. You've found a third option. Anna rose to her feet, her hybrid body standing as living proof of what cooperation between species could achieve. I was engineered for perfection, she said. But the battlefield taught me that true perfection lies not in strength or intelligence alone, but in the ability to forge connections where others see only conflict. As the news spread throughout the compound, Anna stood at the viewport once more, gazing at the stars with new perspective. The war that had defined her existence was approaching its end, not through the annihilation she had been created to deliver, but through the understanding she had chosen to pursue. The battlefield had indeed raised her, not just as a weapon, but as a bridge between worlds. The neutral meeting ground was Ceres, a dwarf planet in the asteroid belt that had been terraformed into a habitable outpost early in humanity's expansion. Its surface now hosted two distinct encampments, the human delegation on the western plateau and the Krell representatives on the eastern ridge. Between them stood a newly constructed dome, its transparent walls revealing a circular chamber where the fate of both species would be decided. Anna approached the structure flanked by Dr. Reese and General Thorne, who had insisted on representing Earth's military interests, despite his evident discomfort with the proceedings. They're already inside, Dr. Reese noted, observing the shadowy figures through the dome's translucent walls. Are you ready for this? Anna's hybrid form had stabilized in recent weeks, the Krell components now fully integrated with her human systems. She moved with fluid grace, her consciousness expanded by the alien technology she had embraced. I've been preparing for this since my awakening, she replied. Though I didn't know it then. General Thorne adjusted his formal uniform, his expression grim. Remember, this could still be a trap. The Krell have deceived us before. Not this time, Anna assured him. The commander understands what's at stake. The airlock cycled open, admitting them to the neutral chamber. The Krell delegation waited at the opposite end. 4 warriors of the type Anna had faced in combat, and at their center, a being unlike any human eyes had seen before. The Krell commander stood nearly 3 meters tall, its exoskeleton bearing the marks of countless centuries. Unlike its soldiers, the commander's carapace was adorned with crystalline structures similar to those that now composed parts of Anna's body, evidence of a direct neural connection to the collective consciousness. Welcome, the commander spoke, its voice a harmonic blend of chittering sounds and synthesized human speech. The one called Anna has opened a path we did not believe possible. Anna stepped forward into the center of the chamber, occupying the neutral ground between both delegations. I speak for both sides of my nature, she stated. The human who was created for war, and the Krell integration that showed me another way. The formal negotiations began with a historical acknowledgement of the conflict, each side presenting their perspective on the events that had led to war. General Thorne recounted the devastation of human colonies, his voice tight with barely controlled emotion. The Krell commander detailed its species' desperate search for genetic diversity, explaining the existential threat that had driven their aggressive expansion. We face extinction within 12 generations without new genetic material, the commander revealed. Our ability to adapt has diminished with each assimilation. We sought humanity's essence not to destroy you, but to preserve ourselves. Dr. Reese presented the scientific counter-proposal that Anna had helped develop, a controlled exchange of genetic information without assimilation or conquest. We offer a symbiotic relationship, she explained. Human adaptability can be shared, without sacrificing human autonomy. The negotiations continued for 3 days, each session bringing both species closer to understanding. Anna served not just as translator, but as living proof of what integration could achieve. Her hybrid existence demonstrated the potential benefits for both sides, enhanced capabilities without loss of identity. On the final day, as the framework for peace took shape, the Krell commander approached Anna privately during a recess. Its massive form loomed over her, yet there was no hostility in its posture. "You have evolved beyond your programming," it observed. "Beyond what either of our creators intended." Anna nodded. "As have you. The collective designed you to conquer, yet here you stand, negotiating peace." "The collective adapts, slowly," the commander acknowledged. "But you represent something neither of our species anticipated, a bridge between separate evolutionary paths." Anna studied the ancient being before her. "There will be resistance on both sides. Many humans still see the Krell as monsters. Many Krell still view humans as resources to be harvested." "Yes," the commander agreed. "Change comes at a cost. Some will reject the new order. Some may rebel against it. Then we must show them what's possible," Anna decided. "Not through words, but through actions." When the negotiations resumed, Anna proposed the formation of a new entity, neither fully human nor entirely Krell, but a collaborative force composed of volunteers from both species who would work together to implement the peace accord and defend against those who might threaten it. "Integration must be voluntary," she emphasized, "based on mutual respect and consent. What I am is not the end point, but the beginning of a new evolutionary branch." General Thorne leaned forward, his military mind grasping the strategic implications. "You're proposing a joint security force." "More than that," Anna corrected. "A new community, one that preserves the strengths of both species while transcending their limitations." The peace accord was signed amid mixed reactions from both delegations. Some humans recoiled at the idea of genetic exchange with the very species that had slaughtered their kin. Some Krell representatives bristled at abandoning the assimilation process that had defined their civilization for millennia. But as the first volunteers stepped forward, human soldiers who had fought alongside Anna, Krell warriors who had witnessed her capabilities, the potential of her vision began to materialize. 6 months later, the first integrated settlement was established on Ganymede. Anna walked through its streets, observing human and Krell scientists working side by side in research facilities designed to accommodate both species. The genetic exchange program had begun yielding results, treatments that extended Krell genetic diversity without harming humans, and enhancements that allowed humans to benefit from Krell biological advantages without losing their identity. Dr. Reese joined Anna on an observation platform overlooking the settlement. "They're calling it New Genesis in the Earth media," she remarked. "Quite biblical." "An appropriate name," Anna replied, "though not everyone sees it that way." Reports had reached them of dissent on both sides, human purist movements that viewed the accord as surrender, and Krell factions that considered negotiated exchange an abomination against their traditional ways. The road to true peace would be long and fraught with challenges. "Do you ever think about what you were created to be?" Dr. Reese asked, studying the hybrid being who had once been her laboratory specimen. "The perfect soldier, designed for a war that you ended through peace instead." Anna's gaze swept across the settlement where two enemy species were learning to coexist. "Perfection is not static," she said. "It evolves with purpose. I was engineered in a lab, but I was raised by experience. Each battlefield taught me something. My creators couldn't program choice, adaptation, empathy. A group of children passed below their platform, human children playing alongside the first generation of Krell younglings born under the new accord. They moved together in a game that combined elements of both cultures, their laughter and chittering forming a strange but harmonious chorus. "They will face challenges we cannot foresee," Anna observed. "Their world will be more complex than either of ours. But they'll have you to guide them," Dr. Reese pointed out. "The bridge between worlds." Anna considered this responsibility with the same analytical precision she had once applied to combat situations. "Not just me," she decided. "All of us who choose to evolve beyond our origins." As twilight fell over New Genesis, Anna stood at the boundary between human and Krell territories, a boundary that grew more permeable with each passing day. Behind her lay the path of war that had forged her. Before her stretched a future of integration and coexistence that she had helped create. She had been engineered for perfection, designed to win a war through superior strength and intelligence. The battlefield had raised her to understand that true victory sometimes required laying down weapons rather than wielding them. Her greatest strength had proven to be not her enhanced muscles or tactical algorithms, but her ability to see beyond the conflict that had defined her purpose. In the growing twilight, Anna's human eye and Krell crystalline sensor both perceived the same truth. She was neither the ending of one story nor the beginning of another, but the crucial bridge between them. The perfect soldier had become the perfect diplomat, not through programming, but through choice. And in that choice lay humanity's greatest gift to its creation, the freedom to become more than the sum of her engineered parts. The end.